Welcome to an episode of Chess Sports Talk, and welcome to the preview show for Championship Sunday of the 2024-25 NFL season. And we definitely have some very unique matchups. My Super Bowl pick to win it all has been eliminated, so I got to find a new horse to hitch my bandwagon on. We'll go over last week's Divisional Round, kind of give a little highlight here and there. Talking about some news, about some coaching carousel, starting to fill some slots, and we dive right into Championship Sunday. But before I dive into all that, if you like what I do, and you always hear, tuning in, and you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, it really helps me out. The more you guys help me out, the better off I can do. You just hit the subscribe button, click that bell icon, turn on notifications. Another thing you can do to help support the channel is hit that like button. Well, enough of that. Let's just dive right into last week's actions. And with Houston and Kansas City squaring off last week on Saturday to kick things off for the weekend, I knew it was going to be close. I knew Houston was going to give Kansas City like a handle because Houston has this young, talented squad of individuals that are just looking to make a name for themselves. And it's basically what they end up doing. They tried to influence what it was, but was the Chiefs a little rusty in the beginning? A little bit, but that's when the juices started flowing for Kelsey and for Mahomes, and they started clicking, and just like the same old, time and time again. And these guys were just almost unstoppable. I mean, the Chiefs' defense was doing just enough to hamper the Texans. And at the end, the Chiefs gave them 2 points just for the heck of it. The Chiefs proved that they're an elite team. They're a team not to count out for this playoff scenario. And they wanted to look forward to as they, edged out Houston to advance to the AFC Championship game. Then on the other matchup on Saturday, you get the other number one team, Detroit, taking on the Washington Commanders. Now, no one thought the Commanders had a shot. Now, I knew the Commanders were going to put up points. That's just what they do. I knew Detroit's defense was lacking. You see that in the last few games where Detroit's defense was just coughing up all these points because they have another defensive team on the IR. That's how bad the Detroit's defense has been decimated. And Goff can only do so much. That Washington defense was ferocious. I mean, Goff really had, he still had over 300 yards, but he could not get any touchdown. He had 1 touchdown. Gibbs, he broke out for 100 yards with 2 touchdowns, but when Washington's defense clamped down, they clamped down. And Detroit's defense could not stop anything. Nothing. Once that second quarter kicked in, that was it. The game flipped like that. Because Washington put up 28 points in that second quarter. I believe it was like three or four turnovers that Detroit had. We do that. Goff had like 2 interceptions. You're not going to win doing that for your team. And Washington right now is the Cinderella team this year, as they just blew the doors off of Detroit 45-31 to advance to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach. His first year with this franchise. The Quinn's already taken the franchise to the Super Bowl. But way this Washington team is playing right now, this is something you have to watch out for. And then Philadelphia in the snow, taking on the Rams. Saquon had another matchful game. Now, for the Rams, they were not allowing in the playoffs more than a 100-yard rusher. Saquon's like, okay, I'll do 200. He had 205 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game clincher. That just put the Eagles over the Rams 2022. The issue the Eagles are going to come to is Jalen Hurts got injured towards the end of this game on the tackle, his leg just got caught up and his knee got twisted a little bit. So you have to be mindful for that. And we'll see how that will play into the next round as they host their divisional rival. And to cap things off is the battle of the MVPs, Lamar and Josh squaring off in Western New York. And the problem with Baltimore in this game wasn't Lamar Jackson. He wasn't the problem. But there were 3 turnovers that really kind of helped shift the game a bit. And drops at the most inopportune times has really sparked a lot of outrage. I saw floating out there Baltimore fans talking about getting rid of Andrews, the tight end. It's like he's the biggest choke artist of them all. All right, you couch potatoes. You go out there in freezing temperatures and try to catch a frozen football and see how well you do. Just saying. If he would have caught that would have been great because then the game would have been tied and could have gone into overtime, and who knows what would have transpired then. It is just one of those weird things. I mean, we saw that earlier in the year with Saquon in Philadelphia on the 4th down play, that if Saquon would have held on to it, you wouldn't be talking about it. You talk about it would be the greatest play ever, and then they just label it as one of the boneheaded plays of Sirianni's career. Fans and analytics and all that can flip on a dime depending how the play turns out. It was a perfectly designed play, and if you had caught it, no one would complain. I was shocked that he dropped it because he was pretty sure-handed. But also know temperatures do play a factor in these type of games, and being in Western New York in the snow, freezing temps, plays a factor. But it's. I think this was Lamar's best shot again in the Super Bowl. But I do think they could be able to step up the game next year, as long as they keep their pieces intact, pretty much. Maybe fine-tune a few areas. But I think, Baltimore can make a nice run, but Buffalo end up edging out Baltimore 27-25 to head to the AFC Championship game against Kansas City Chiefs. And then we got some coaching news in terms of seats being filled, and Detroit is going to have brand new coordinators. Both coordinators have found new homes. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, is heading to Chi-Town to lead the Bears. Of course, a lot of people are like, yes. Some fans, once again, of course, I'm being a Bears fan, going on some Bear sites, and they're like, great, another head coach hired that has 0 experience. And I'm like, you have to get experience somehow. The only way to get that is to, be picked up by a team. And why not the guy that led that Detroit offense that was just stacking up points left, right, and center? I mean, sounds pretty good. And then they got the former head coach of the Saints to lead the defense. They brought over Ben Johnson brought over the offensive line coach from Detroit. They made him the OC. So there's definitely some big changes going on. I think they're trying to tap New Orleans for a special teams coach. So we're going to kind of see how things are going to transpire in Chicago with that. But another thing, Aaron Glenn, the DC Detroit Lions, a former draft pick of the New York Jets. He will be coaching the team that gave him his entry into the NFL. This is definitely a very unique aspect with the Mean Green, or Gang Green. depending how you want to label them. Or Gang Glenn's not a part to be called because of the head coach. But given a defensive-minded coach might help out the Jets, and if you could find a good OC to come in to kind of redefine that Jets offensive line, that Jets offense that sputtered immensely. It's like a prop plane. You have to twirl the thing a couple times before it actually kicks in. The old school prop plane from World War I, the old biplanes. Well, we'll see what Aaron Glenn can do to try to help turn around the Jets and try to make them more of a force in the AFC, especially AFC East. And, see if, Aaron Rodgers sticks around with this addition. Be kind of interesting to fathom especially if you're a Jets fan. Still a couple other ones out there. I think Dallas right now is looking at Schottenheimer, their OC, to take over. So I got Kellen Winslow's the Eagles OC. It could be another one that used to be Dallas's OC. So there's still a few, choices out there trying to, figure out how things are going to transpire. Now let's dive into the reason why everyone's here. And we're going to dive into the Championship Sunday between the Final Four teams. Now, with this one, there's a lot of unique scenarios, and a lot of people don't want to see the Chiefs in there again. I mean, it's getting repetitive, just like the Patriots. We always see the Patriots there. I think you have to get used to the Chiefs being there for a while until players start to leave and retire. We're trying to find new grounds, whatnot. You're going to find the Chiefs there. It's one of those things. Washington, they may not win this game, but they're going to be a team that's going to be hanging around for a while. Especially if Jane Daniels can continue his upper progression in terms of what he does. It's going to be great. But let's go ahead and just dive right into that NFC showdown in Philadelphia between the Eagles and the Commanders for a spot in the Super Bowl. Now, last time these two teams did meet, Washington did beat Philadelphia, but it's also a game that Jalen Hurts was pretty much knocked out and was injured and was out for a concussion. And Washington barely won 36-33. So they put everything on Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett did a very decent job in managing the Eagles' offense. Now, Jalen Hurts comes to the game not 100%. I've turned on his video. He had limited practice on Wednesday. So there's still some fear that his gameplay is going to be limited, which will benefit Washington immensely. Because look what they did with Jared Goff last week. Jared Goff is not a very mobile quarterback. They isolated him, even though he's still able to throw off 300 yards. Gibbs still had 100 yards on the ground. Their thing is going to try to stop Saquon. And I have a feeling, they did it great that last week of the season, that last time they faced off around Christmas time frame. So that defense got back there and was disrupting everything. But there's going to be some questions on that offense. On that defense of Washington right now. Bobby Wagner is questionable. Payne, Jean-Baptiste are all questionable. But I think these guys will probably end up playing anyways because it is a do or die type of scenario. You have to win to continue. And if you win, you get a week off. Same thing with Philadelphia. They got a few guys that are on the offense that are questionable. A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts are all questionable. They're going to play. So it's figure out which one's going to factor into this scenario. I'm not going to worry about the weather too much. Both these teams play in cold weather, so the weather's not going to be a factor. It is which defense can attack that offense and which quarterback can take what the defenses give them. Right now, Dane Daniels has been phenomenal. Fourth quarter comebacks. You leave him room to come back, he is going to lead the team to score. Every time they played, they had that. I don't expect them to put 28 points in a quarter to really dictate the pace of the game. But Tampa Bay, he was given an opportunity to come back. Dallas is getting an opportunity to come back. Atlanta, Chicago, Philly. I mean, all these games where they had opportunities to come back, they did. And right now, analytically, Philly at 64%. They have a 6-point spread advantage as well. Take Washington for the points. There's no question about that. Jane Jones is going to keep this team in this game. The Washington's defense is going to keep this team in this game. No doubt about it. I think it's going to be a squeaker. It's going to be like a 2-point affair. This is going to come down to the wire. Which team is going to be coached correctly? I mean, Quinn's been to the Super Bowl. He knows what it means. Sirianni's trying to get there. And these players are trying to find ways to will themselves to that position. Don't take anything away from Jane Daniels in this season. He's Rookie of the Year by hands down. There's no question about that. And Saquon was just announced as one of the finalists for the MVP between him, Lamar, and Josh. So there's a good company right there. But Philadelphia's going to find ways to ensure Saquon's able to break free of that Washington defense. Saquon's going to be a factor in this game. They're going to try to eliminate Saquon, but he's going to find ways. Philly's offense might be tinkered with, which could allow for this game to be close, or will allow this game to be close, Like I said, this is going to be a close game. You can't leave any doubt for Jane Daniels to try to come up with. It's going to be up to the Philadelphia secondary to shut down those receivers. Good luck with that, by the way. But I got to keep with my NFC pick. I'm taking the Eagles to edge out Washington by 2 points to make it to the Super Bowl. And the matinee matchup for Sunday is going to be Buffalo heading to Kansas City. And here we go again. How many times did the Buffalo Kansas City come up? The last time, the time that I remember the most, that's most impactful is when they faced off and Kansas City won overtime, and they changed overtime rules because of Kansas City's win. Because everyone was complaining, that's not fair to lose in the coin toss. Remember, it's a team sport. Your defense has to do their job. Kansas City is looking to make history, become the first three-peat champion in the Super Bowl area. There has not been that. There's been 4 straight Super Bowls. Buffalo, back when Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Levy was in charge of that, he was the head coach. Bruce Smith on the defense. But they went 0-4 in the Super Bowls, and 3 of them were blowouts. But Mahomes and Kelsey know the song and dance all too well. They stepped up last week against Houston. They're going to be a factor this week. Chandler Jones is going to be a factor this week for the Kansas City defense. He's going to try and make his presence known. Now, having issues with some of the receivers for Kansas City, it's probably going not to help matters much. Some of the defensive aspects of the Bills are not going to help much, especially with Milano being questionable. We'll see how much of a factor he's going to be in this matchup. Also, Buffalo beat Kansas City earlier in the year, and the game was in Buffalo. So Kansas City has a mindset, and no, we got to avenge that game. Then we throw in a caveat, and 3 other playoff appearances between Mahomes and Josh Allen. Mahomes has won all 3. No quarterback has won 4 games in postseason play against another quarterback. There are so many scenarios in this, so many innuendos and other aspects to look at. Can the Kansas City defense contain Josh Allen? It's going to be key because you don't have to worry about Josh Allen. You also have to worry about Cook. And Allen likes to throw the ball around, so it's going to be hard to pinpoint a receiver to shut down because he disseminates the ball. He takes what the defense gives him. He will run. If Josh Allen ends up running like 40, 50 yards, this could be dangerous for Kansas City. And remember, this is not a skinny quarterback running. This is like a linebacker running at you. But on the same side, you can't try to contain Mahomes. He just finds ways to extend plays, and Kelsey and him are just mind synced together that Kelsey finds ways to make sure he's in the right position to help Mahomes either increase the yardage of the play and catch the ball or throw a key block, which allowed Mahomes to skirt through. Those would be some factors you have to come into the scenario, try to contain this Chiefs offense that just continues to thrive. Once they make it to the dance, it's a whole new season. They are looking to dominate. This is going to be the MO for many, many years to come when it comes to the Chiefs. As long as Mahomes has at least one target he can trust to throw to, he will always be there. As long as the defense is good enough. Look at all the years in New England. Look what they did. You're seeing it replayed now in Kansas City. Analytically, Buffalo's favored at 55%. Kansas City has a 1-point advantage. This is a pick'em game. This is one of these games that you could probably flip a coin and determine who wins this game. This is going to be the game to watch. This is going to be the highlight for Sunday. Nothing against Washington, Philadelphia. That is going to be a great matchup itself. And see how Philadelphia can contain the momentum Daniels is having right now. The thing is, with Kansas City, can they do the same thing to Josh Allen? So right now, Josh Allen didn't have to be Superman against Baltimore. And he still won. If he's Superman against Kansas City is going to have issues. Well, during the season, every time I go against Mahomes, he always beats me. And it's one of the things that goes in the back of my head that, no, stick with Kansas City because it's the safe bet. But the way Buffalo's playing right now, I can't overlook them. Kansas City's been lucky for most of the season. They have rallied around and won a lot of one-score games, blocked field goals, bad snaps, key turnovers. I mean, it's certainly the luck of the Chiefs is going to run out. It could be this game. I really think it could be this game. I'm taking Buffalo to win at Arrowhead. Very unsure about this decision because it is Patrick Mahomes. It is the Kansas City Chiefs. They always seem to find ways to pull things out of nowhere. An empty bag, and they end up pulling out a cake. I mean, they're a magician when it comes to the postseason. They find ways to win. But the mentality of the Bills right now, the way the Bills are just humming along, the way they're performing, this is the team I think you need to really watch out for. If they can stiffen Mahomes up, not make him as elusive, and limit the effectiveness of him and Kelsey have, or even Hunt or Pacquiao or any other Chiefs out there, limit the effect and just leave them the field goals. Now, when they can try to score the touchdowns, that's what Buffalo has to do. do the bend don't break philosophy when it comes to the defense, which is hard to do. But this is what they have to do. And then Buffalo's going to have to take advantage of weaknesses in the Chiefs' defense that appear so often. Avoid Chandler Jones at all cost. But I'll take the Bills edging the Chiefs by 3 and making it back to the Super Bowl. Where do they go? Those are my picks. Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl. And we'll see what happens, what transpires with this one. But let me know down in the comments below what you think. What you think of the Detroit Lions losing to both OCs. One to the rival, one to the Jets. Who do you think the next coach is going to end up getting hired? What do you think of my picks? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I just put it all in on the Chiefs and go, it's their show, we're just living in it? Let's mix it up in the comments below. The more you interact, the better the input in the algorithm boost up this video. Make sure everyone gets to listen to the ramblings of this crazy man that you love so much that you keep coming back for. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share this video. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.